World War II was the most devastating conflict in human history. But there are facts about this war that most people have never heard of. Today, I'm going to reveal 10 absolutely surprising facts about World War II that will completely change your perspective on this dark period in history. Fact number 1. Hitler almost canceled the invasion of Poland at the last minute. On August 25, 1939, just 6 days before the official start of the war, Hitler received a letter from the British Prime Minister guaranteeing support to Poland. He got so nervous that he canceled the invasion scheduled for the next day. German generals were already in position, soldiers ready to attack, and Hitler simply said, "Stop everything." The war only really began a week later, when Hitler finally had the courage to give the definitive order. Fact number 2. There was a soldier who fought for 3 different countries in the same war. Yang Kyung-jong was Korean, was forced to fight for Japan against the Soviet Union, was captured by the Russians, and forced to fight against the Germans, was captured again by the Nazis, and forced to fight against the Allies in Normandy, where he was finally captured by the Americans. Imagine this guy's mental confusion. He literally fought on all sides of the war without choosing any of them. Fact number 3. The largest prisoner of war escape in history happened in World War II. At Stalag Luft III camp in Poland, 600 prisoners dug 3 gigantic tunnels for an entire year. They created a ventilation system, electric lighting, and even small underground trains to transport dirt. On the night of the escape, 76 men managed to get out. Unfortunately, 73 were recaptured and 50 were executed by the Nazis. This story inspired the famous movie, The Great Escape. Fact number 4. Animals were the forgotten heroes of World War II. The British used more than 250,000 carrier pigeons to send secret messages. A pigeon named Cher Ami saved 200 American soldiers by delivering a crucial message even after being shot. The Soviets trained dogs with bombs strapped to their backs to blow up German tanks. And the Americans even trained bats to carry incendiary bombs. Yes, bomb bats was a real idea from the American Army. Fact number 5. The Allies broke the German secret code 2 years before the Germans found out. The famous Enigma machine, which the Nazis thought was unbreakable, was cracked by British mathematicians at Bletchley Park. They read practically all German messages in real time. But here's the secret. They couldn't act on all the information. Otherwise, the Germans would realize the code was broken. So sometimes, they let German attacks happen to keep the secret. This information was only revealed 30 years after the war. Fact number 6. The Americans created a completely fake army to deceive the Germans. The 23rd Special Troops Battalion was composed of artists, designers, and film professionals. They created inflatable tanks, rubber airplanes, and even sound recordings of troops marching. This ghost army managed to deceive the Germans in several operations, including D-Day. The Germans thought the Allies had much more soldiers and equipment than they actually had. It was literally a war movie being filmed to deceive the enemy. Fact number 7. Stalin, Churchill, and Roosevelt hated each other, but pretended to be friends. In meetings between the 3 leaders, Stalin always brought his own cook and food taster, afraid of being poisoned. Churchill drank whiskey at breakfast and frequently offended Stalin by calling him Uncle Joe. Roosevelt tried to mediate, but secretly agreed more with Stalin than with Churchill about Europe's future. They smiled for the photos, but behind the cameras, the tension was so great that advisors were afraid a fight would break out at any moment. Fact number 8. The British tried to build an aircraft carrier made of ice. Project Habakkuk was a plan to create gigantic ships using a mixture of ice and wood fibers called picrate. This material was stronger than concrete and could be molded into any shape. The idea was to build aircraft carriers the size of buildings that couldn't be sunk. They even built a prototype in Canada, but the project was abandoned when they realized the ice melted faster than expected. Imagine explaining to a pilot that he's going to take off from an iceberg. Fact number 9. A Japanese soldier fought in World War II until 1974. Hiru Onoda was sent to the Philippines in 1944 with orders to never surrender. When the war ended in 1945, he and some companions hid in the jungle and continued guerrilla attacks. One by one, his companions died or surrendered, but Onoda continued fighting alone for 29 years. He only surrendered when his former commander personally went to the Philippines in 1974 to give him direct orders to stop. When he finally came out of the jungle, he was still in perfect physical and mental condition. Fact number 10. The atomic bomb cost more than the entire American space program until the moon landing. The Manhattan Project consumed $2 billion of that time, equivalent to more than $28 billion today. To give you an idea, that's more money than many small countries produce in an entire year. The project was so secret that not even Vice President Harry Truman knew about the bomb's existence until he became president after Roosevelt's death. When he found out, his first reaction was to ask, "You spent how much on this thing?" So, which of these facts surprised you the most? I'm always amazed at how history always has details we never imagine. World War II wasn't just tanks and battles. It was a period full of incredible human stories, bizarre strategies, and secrets we only discovered decades later.